All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us at 7 o'clock. I'm Tracey McCain.
I'm Caitlin Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax. We appreciate that. Let's say hello to meteorologist Jill Gilardi. Get the details on that first alert forecast and that rain that is coming tomorrow.
I know, I'm pumped. We're all excited for the rain. Not excited to have to probably travel in it, though. Yeah. It's not going to be pleasant at all tomorrow. But yeah, we'll sacrifice that for much needed rainfall. It's going to be windy as well. And even the snow could end as a few snowflakes in some areas, especially back to the west. So certainly this rain is going to help the drought situation. Now, with a strong wind that's going to be coming up from the south and southeast, coastal flooding may also become an issue. What we're seeing right now and for today, for the last day, for a little bit, elevated fire weather concerns continue again today. We've had a beautiful sunrise in Old Saybrook, still a pretty view out there with some scattered clouds. The sun has come up. Check out this view not too long ago out of North Granby and the Southwick area. Judy Whitty shared that with us. It was phenomenal, and I did capture the sunrise view out of Hartford. It looks like the sky was on fire. Find that on my fan page. All right, 40s generally right now, so not bad at all for this time of year. And for the kiddos heading out to the bus, well, definitely need the jacket today, but another beautiful day with more sunshine as the afternoon wears on. And then we turn our attention to that big change in the weather pattern. I'll be timing out that heavy rain coming up a little later, but for now, let's get an update on traffic with Caitlin. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jill. Good morning, everyone. 7:02 here on your Wednesday morning. If you're just joining us, we do appreciate that. But if you're getting ready to head out the door this morning, heading to work, bringing the kids to school, maybe you're heading to a turkey drive here across the state, majority of the state looking just like this, nice and quiet. You know, we're dealing with some cloud cover, so I don't think you need the sunglasses right now, but pack them. You might need them a little bit later. And normal delays building as well. You can see a little bit of a slowdown that's moving through here in Hartford, 91 southbound as you're merging onto 84. Starting to see those slowdowns as congestion builds in Waterbury, in and out of the Mixmaster. Again, 84 east and westbound. A live look here in Meriden along 691. And then in Middletown, actually fairly quiet for this time of morning along Route 9. So no crashes out there. Daytime construction picks up between about 8:30 and 9 o'clock. And let's leave you with your drive times as you're heading out the door. Again, those normal delays down through Fairfield County. I'm Caitlin Francis with your Connecticut Chevy First Alert Traffic Report, driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
Developing right now in Hartford, new details this morning about the murders of a young mother and her baby boy. Right now, the manhunt is underway for their killer.
And overnight, we did learn some new information, including the identities of the victims. And the third person was also shot and hurt. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Olivia Schuler has the latest information from investigators at the Hartford Police Department.
Yeah, Caitlin and Tracy, this story is just heartbreaking. A mother and son gunned down in their car on New Britain Avenue Tuesday afternoon. Police overnight have identified the victims as 20-year-old Josiah McCardo and 4-month-old Messiah Diaz of Springfield, Massachusetts. Now this morning, police are searching for the suspect. Hartford police are working around the clock to find out whoever killed a young mother and son. Police have not shared whether or not they have the vehicle description for the suspect. We're working to get that information out to you this morning. Right now, police do not know whether or not the killer worked alone or with others in this brutal attack. This shooting happened in broad daylight just after 2:45 Tuesday afternoon. Shortly after, a car pulled up to Hartford Hospital with multiple gunshot victims. We know the third person shot, who is not being identified, is suffering from a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Police canvassed the area of New Britain Avenue between Monroe and Zion Street for hours. You can see a number of evidence markers on the road where this deadly situation unfolded.
We believe that at this point that our victim vehicle was pulled up alongside by our suspect vehicle, who opened fire into the vehicle, striking our victims.
Lieutenant Boisvert tells us that every unit and detective in the city are looking for the suspect or suspects. If you have any information, immediately call police. In Hartford, Olivia Schuler, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
New this morning, a shed fire in Glastonbury lit up the woods off of Wickham Road last night.
Take a look at these images here. This all happening just after 8 o'clock last night when crews received reports of a loud explosion and a large fire.
Still not clear if anyone was hurt here. Of course, we'll bring you updates as we get new information into the newsroom.
All right, new information right now about that scary school threat in Portland. A 13-year-old girl will face charges for making the whole thing up.
And we now know that police say the student sent a tip that she heard someone was in the school with a gun and was going to shoot people on Monday.
And police placed the middle and high schools into lockdown for 5 hours as they swept the building.
Police were able to track where that message came from and determine that the whole thing was a hoax.
Police arresting a mom accused of leaving her 4 children alone in Vernon, living in filth while she was in another state. Police say they found 3 of the children naked and surrounded by human and cat feces on the ground. Investigators found their mother, 40-year-old Lindsay Powell, days later in New York. They believe she never planned to return home. A judge has ordered her not to have any contact with her children.
A South Windsor man has learned his fate following the death of his wife. And this morning, we've learned a judge sentenced Taj Hutchinson to 27 years in prison, accused of killing his wife, Jessica Edwards, in 2021, now convicted of that, then hiding her body in a wooded area in East Hartford. Edwards' family searched 11 days before her body was found. Police say the two were arguing when he put his knees on her neck and suffocated her in front of a child. Hutchinson was originally charged with murder, but took a plea deal for manslaughter.
All right, we have a big update this morning. Avon police say 2 people have been arrested in connection with a string of car thefts and burglaries.
You may remember that back in the spring of 2023, investigators say a South American theft group was spearheading crimes in Avon, Farmington, and Simsbury.
So in Avon, there were 9 homes that were broken into in just 2 weeks from the end of January 2023 to the middle of February that year.
We're told the suspects are being held in Georgia and will be brought back to Connecticut tonight. Police will share more details about all this at noon. Well, happening now, President-elect Donald Trump has announced Linda McMahon as his nomination to lead the U.S. Department of Education.
Yeah, you've probably heard her name before. His pick of a well-known business executive and political advisor who has strong ties to Connecticut has received strong reactions from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Marcy Jones is live in studio breaking down the next steps. Good morning.
Good morning, Tracy and Caitlin. Even if you're not familiar with Linda herself, you've certainly heard of her family's empire, World Wrestling Entertainment, founded by Linda and her husband, Vince McMahon. Linda ran for Senate twice in Connecticut and is also the former head of the U.S. Small Business Administration and co-chair of Trump's transition team. She also served on the Connecticut Board of Education from 2009 to 2010. While both political parties have had mixed reactions to the announcement, a major concern right now is the fact that President-elect Trump says he may dismantle the U.S. Department of Education. While Trump is not the first Republican to raise the idea of giving the power of education back to the states, it would be a monumental task and likely require action from Congress. The main concern is funding. More than $13 billion is spent on K-12 public education in Connecticut annually. While a majority of that money comes from state and local sources, more than $1 billion comes from federal funds. Specifics have not yet been released, but Connecticut educators are worried about Title I, a federal program that provides financial support to help students from low-income families succeed. Another federally funded concern is FAFSA.
General concerns about what is it going to look like? How is it going to change education in Connecticut?
It's, part of the deal for us to take seriously the things that he's laid out and consider what would the impact of, something like closing the Department of Education.
In a statement on Truth Social, Trump said in part McMahon, quote, will fight tirelessly to expand choice to every state in America and empower parents. If confirmed, she would replace the current head of the department, Miguel Cardona, also a Connecticut native who grew up and taught in Meriden. In the studio, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
President-elect Donald Trump also tapped former TV host and heart surgeon Dr. Oz as the administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and also announced his choice of Wall Street executive Howard Lutnick to lead the Commerce Department.
Well, one of his most controversial choices, Matt Gaetz, is set to meet with several senators on Capitol Hill today as he tries to make his case for confirmation. Trump's told CBS he is not reconsidering his nomination of Gaetz for Attorney General.
The UConn men's basketball team remained undefeated with an 81-46 win over East Texas A&M last night.
Yeah, they are rolling. Alex Caravan, Liam McNeely both had 11 points in this win. UConn has defeated all 4 of their opponents by at least 35 points to start the season. Despite the lopsided victory of Coach Dan Hurley called his team comically bad after the game.
The competition does get a little tougher from here on out. The Huskies are facing Memphis on Monday in the first of 3 games in 3 days at the Maui Invitational.
They were comically bad. Wait until we see when they're good.
I know.
Well, tonight can be the night for UConn women's head coach Gino Auriemma as he goes for the all-time career coaching victories record. The women host Fairleigh Dickinson tonight.
A win would give Coach Auriemma 1,217 wins and would break his tie with retired coach Tara Vendevere, who coached at Stanford and Ohio State. So a big game for the UConn women.
I have everything ready to go. I'm going to be watching that later on today. And of course, we're watching the weather. Big changes coming our way. First alert weather days now, both Thursday, Friday. Tomorrow, it's going to be pouring in the morning, potentially, right? What a difference. Strong wind gusts. We get a lot of rain out of this, maybe an inch or more in some places, and could wrap up as some snowflakes late tomorrow night into Friday. Helping the drought, that's the big thing. Or what wouldn't be helping the shoreline would be coastal flooding. It could possibly develop. Right now, a beautiful view out of Waterbury, and it's 42 degrees. And here's where we're headed today, near 60 degrees. So some sunshine breaking out after these morning clouds go away, and then additional clouds moving in. We're timing out all of the precipitation types for you coming up in less than 10 minutes.